Every season brings along some new weapons, exotics, and legendaries alike, and today we're going to be talking about the best Season of the Wish weapons to go ahead and dominate PvE with. And yes, we will be including exotics, at least some exotics, because there's only 3 new exotic weapons introduced this season. Yes, there will be world drops as well, so let's go ahead and roll with it. We'll start off with the big banger, the exotics. I want to at least give an honorable mention to the Buried Bloodline exotic sidearm from the new Warlord's Ruin dungeon. I personally haven't used it myself, as I have not gotten it to actually drop for me just yet, but from just looking at it on paper along with what the catalyst does for it, and from what I've heard, it's not too shabby. However, the main true course of the exotic section is going to be a season pass exotic. That's right, we got the absolute banger juicer season pass exotic weapon this season. Ironically, it came from D1. The Dragon's Breath is an absolute beast. It's like a solar anarchy in rocket form, and as long as you don't have too many people spamming it in your fire team, it's going to absolutely cook. Easiest way to use this weapon is to shoot it at a boss and switch to something like a fusion rifle, a sniper, a pellet shotgun, any special weapon of your choice, and then you wait for the boss to ignite twice, and after the second ignition, the Dragon's Breath will auto reload itself. Give you a composite propellant ×5 rocket, allowing this thing to be used in some pretty fun swap rotations, along with being able to absolutely juice damage by yourself. So it's good in solo damage scenarios, whether you're doing a dungeon or anything else. If you can use this weapon on a solar build and run something like Ember of Ashes, so you inflict even more scorch stacks. And overall, I really love this rocket launcher, and I'm so glad that it is so good in this game. The fact that this rocket just constantly ignites the boss and reloads itself by ignitions due to its high octane perk makes this thing really strong. It's on the season pass, meaning even if you didn't buy the season, once you hit rank 35 on the pass, you can go ahead and get your Dragon's Breath. Get this gun's catalyst done as quick as you can, as this will just allow for the weapon to replenish its fuel even faster. So shout out to the Dragon's Breath, my man. Alright, so let's go ahead and segue on over to the primary weapons that we got this season, at least the ones that are going to be worth chasing. So, I have 2 honorable mentions here, that being the Lethal Abundance, which is a strand auto rifle from Iron Banner this season. Main reason why I mentioned this auto rifle, even though it is a high impact frame, is because it does have Onslaught. Onslaught is basically Rampage, but instead of getting bonus damage, you get increased fire rate, and holy crap, you can really feel it. It is really awesome, and probably one of the more fun perks to use in the game. Some notable perks in the 3rd column to pair with Onslaught in the 4th would be Enlightened Action and Slice. Since I haven't gotten this weapon yet, I don't want to spend too much time talking about it. And did you know that the Tiger Spite, yeah, that old auto rifle, can now roll with kinetic tremors and overflow? Not saying it's insane or anything, but I might take a peek into that overflow kinetic tremors roll for the revamped Tiger Spite. Okay, so, Breakneck, my guy. The other auto rifle that can roll kinetic tremors. However, it also does have Onslaught in the 4th column. But keep in mind, my man, this thing's perk pool is thick. I know we all got sickness for the thickness, but dude, trying to get the roll that you want on this auto rifle is definitely going to be a bit of a tall task. To pair with either kinetic tremors or Onslaught from the 4th column, in the 3rd, you have things like Enlightened Action, Shoot to Loot, and Subsistence as your notable options in the 3rd column. Definitely keep your eyes peeled for a Breakneck, because it looks to be pretty darn good. Alright, now let me talk to you about one of my new favorite weapons in this game, okay? I wasn't expecting to like this weapon as much as I did, but let me tell you about the Ross Argo 4. We made a whole separate video on this monster of an auto rifle. It is a Void Adaptive Frame 600 RPM auto rifle that is a world drop. In that 4th column, dude, you got some juicers like Repulsor Brace, Subsistence, and Rewind Rounds. And in the 4th column, you got Onslaught here. Dude, Onslaught on this weapon is actually so much fun. It completely shreds lower tier enemies, and it is actually so fun to have a weapon shoot almost as fast as the Atheon's Epilogue once did in Destiny 1. It's as close as we can possibly get to it, and it's actually really darn good. You do have other perks in the 4th column, maybe like Surrounded, Golden Tricorn, but I feel like Onslaught's going to be the main perk that people want in the 4th column on this auto rifle. Okay, let me actually take a break from talking about auto rifles, because we've talked about a lot of them right now. and let me tell you about a new, or well, reimagined 900 RPM SMG. The Subjunctive is a lightweight frame SMG that can roll volt shot. Pretty sure most people are going to go with like shoot to loot, threat detector, stats for all, maybe subsistence, although subsistence wouldn't really pair with your volt shot in column 4. But I feel like most people are definitely going to go with their volt shot in column 4. For this 900 RPM ARC SMG, you can get its pattern by decrypting Season of the Wish Ingrams into subjunctives over at Riven in the helm, or if you run the coil, you may get lucky and get some red borders. But overall, we got some fun primary weapons to go play around and experiment with this season, especially if you like auto rifles. Alright, so now we're going to talk about some of the special weapons to be looking out for that drop this season. Also, real quick, if you want to get your games and DLC for a cheaper price, you make sure you head over to Instant Gaming. It'll be the top link in the description. They're just trying to save you money on games and those games DLCs. And they give away a free game every single month. Just saying. So we'll save the best for last for this section, and we'll talk first about the super cluster, right? Sounds like a cannon or something, but it's actually a strand slug shotgun. Yeah, I know that strand weapons and stasis weapons for that matter of the special weapon type are going to do inherently 15% less damage than kinetic specials. However, this thing has some pretty cool perks, definitely worth mentioning. In the third column, you'd go with something like maybe 4 times or reconstruction. And then in the fourth column, you got the options between Vorpal Weapon, Surrounded, and Cascade Point. Pretty neato. I don't really think there's any other slug shotguns in the game currently that can roll Cascade Point. So definitely worth mentioning this weapon as it is craftable, and you can get it to drop for you in the coil or decrypt Season of the Wish Ingrams over at Riven. I do briefly want to at least say that either of the 2 new legendary trace rifles, as they are both trace rifles that can go in your kinetic slot. You have the Appetence, which is the stasis legendary trace rifle, in which you can craft as it is a new seasonal weapon. And then you have the Incissor, which is from Trials, and it is a strand legendary trace rifle. Now, the Indebted Kindness is probably the best weapon from the Warlord's Ruin dungeon outside of the exotic, and they're both sidearms ironically. However, the Indebted Kindness is a new rocket assisted frame special ammo using sidearm, which means its shots actually pack a pretty decent punch. It's got volt shot in the 4th column. It's got lead from gold, impulse amplifier, and or beacon rounds as some decent 3rd column options. I know it's a sidearm, so people are naturally going to sleep on it. I did as well, but we did a full video on it, and it's actually a pretty darn decent weapon. Now, you guys all know what the best new special weapon is that we got this season. It doesn't need any introduction. It is the Scatter Signal. Yes, a rapid fire frame strand fusion rifle, and this is the first rapid fire frame that can roll with controlled burst. Hell to the yeah. 20% damage buff and a faster charge time. It's got overflow in the 3rd column. It does also have slice in the 3rd column, which I know some people like, although I think most people, myself included, are definitely going to have theirs set with enhanced overflow, enhanced control burst, accelerated coils, charge time masterwork. Amazing weapon. And so far, I would definitely say that this is the most important one to go get the pattern for. Get this weapon's pattern first before any of the other ones. It's a new seasonal weapon. Do some coil runs. Get some Season of the Wish Ingrams, decrypt them all into scatter signals until you have this weapon's pattern. Trust me, bro. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about the heavy weapons to look out for that we got this season. The first one that I at least want to mention, give a little bit of credit to, is the Doomed Petitioner, which is the Season of the Wish Seasonal Linear Fusion Rifle. It is an aggressive frame. It is void, which means it is the first void aggressive frame linear fusion rifle, although we're not in a linear meta. In the 3rd column, the 2 perks to mention are either Reconstruction and or Envious Assassin. Either of those 2 perks will do. And then in the 4th column, the perks that you want to craft on this weapon are either Surrounded or Precision Instrument. Surrounded is always going to be better so long as you're able to get it procced, but if you can't and you want to still use a linear that's really decent, hey man, Precision Instrument is here. Just make sure you don't miss your shots. Now let's go ahead and move over to an LMG that we got this season that I am a pretty big fan of. It's for a very simple reason, my man. First of all, it's an actual good archetype, which is an adaptive frame 450 RPM LMG. It's strand, which means it's the best strand LMG in the game. And then the perk that it has that makes it so damn good and really fun to use, Onslaught in the 4th column. I mean, dude, Onslaught the MVP making the appearance everywhere. It's so awesome. It's so much fun, and it's really good, especially on an LMG. You're going to be able to mow through enemies like a chainsaw or a lawnmower. In the third column, you have some decent options in either Demolitionist, Slice, or Triple Tap. And if you don't want one with Onslaught, another decent fourth column option would be Surrounded, or maybe even Golden Tricorn. Unfortunately, the Marcato 45 Strand LMG is a world drop, meaning, you're gonna have to fight a little bit of RNG in order to get it to drop for you, let alone get the actual perks that you want on it. For me, my Marcato 45 has a Demolitionist and Onslaught, and I really, really like using it. So much fun. Okay. So let's talk about the last weapon of the video, which it is a world drop, and it's a rocket launcher. However, this rocket launcher is very, very strong and has a pretty unique role or two. The Crux Termination 4 is an aggressive frame arc rocket launcher, and it's got some tried and true rocket launcher staples in Clown Cartridge, Envious Assassin, and Reconstruction in the third column. However, its unique role comes from the fact that it also has slide shot in the third column. This is what makes ignition code so prevalent, as you can shoot, slide, shoot, run it on repeat, and just let those rockets fly. In the fourth column, your three main options are going to be either Bipod, Explosive Light, and if you can get it to proc, the best option is going to be Surrounded. Surrounded is also going to boost Wolfpack rounds by 35%, along with the rocket itself receiving a 35% explosive damage increase and a 40% impact damage increase. I have a roll with both Slide Shot and Surrounded on the same rocket, and let me tell you, there's not quite a rocket like it whenever you got everything working in your favor using it. Of course, you have to be a little bit careful, because if you're sliding around in a well, you can very easily shoot your teammate, the well sword itself, or maybe an ad jumps in front of you. Either way, if you can get a really good roll of the Crux Termination, keep it, dude. This thing will replace your hothead. It's the best arc rocket launcher in the game now, and hot damn is it insane. And there we have it, everybody. This is going to be the best Season of the Wish weapons to dominate PvE with. Be on the lookout for all the weapons that we mentioned in this video, some of which are practically given to you, like the Dragon's Breath. Others you're gonna have to hunt for, like the Crux Termination. Let me know which one of these weapons is your favorite out of the bunch. Have a very Merry Christmas. You all be safe. We'll see you in the next one. Adios.